So hey everyone, my name is Ricky, as Dr. Kim said, and today I'm going to be talking about taking showers, something we do every day, or something I hope you guys do every day. But specifically, I'm going to be talking about what we end up thinking about while we're in the shower mindlessly cleaning ourselves. And so when we think of our typical shower stall or our own shower stall, we tend to associate it as a sacred place, a location where we are we perceive ourselves to be most creative or most thoughtful. And so imagine many of you guys have had experiences where you're in the middle of a shower and suddenly you're just hit with a brilliant flash of insight. And you're just muttering to yourself, oh my God, I have to share this with everyone. Never thought of it that way before. And so there has to be something inherent about taking a shower that somehow taps into our inner genius and our inner creativity. And we've even coined the term shower thoughts in order to label these insightful moments. But what kind of thoughts do we exactly classify then as shower thoughts? It could be linking two unrelated ideas together that you previously thought were unrelated. It could be gaining novel insight into a world issue. It could even be solving a riddle that you've long struggled with. And so a shower thought is essentially any thought that you're thinking in a shower that entails some level of insight. So if you want more examples of shower thoughts, look no further than the Facebook Spotted at Mac page. And so in this example, this guy posted, who decided that A, B, C, D are letters and we read them and write with them? Why can't we form complete words and sentences with numbers? Don't you find it odd, a bit arbitrary? Has anyone even noticed? But then I began to question myself whether this was actually classified as a shower thought, because nowhere in the post does it say that the poster thought of this idea in the shower. And it's true. Insightful moments are never actually tied to one specific action at all, but rather they seem to just pop out when we're doing the most mundane of tasks. Things like cooking, cleaning, vacuuming, and as well as showering. All these tasks require minimal mental exertion, but yet still has enough distraction to focus our minds away from the troubles of the real world. And so this begs the question, what kinds of activities actually facilitate insightful moments, and what kinds of activities are just mere distractors? But better yet, do shower thoughts even bear any scientific merit at all? And so research into the idea of shower thoughts has been relatively new. And researchers in this field have always been constantly trying to figure out a way how to measure sudden bursts of insight. And one way to do this is to force people to leave a problem temporarily unsolved and then see if they can figure out a way to solve it on their own while they are distracted. And so researchers such as Baird et al. Tested for the idea of incubation, which is essentially the time period at which they come up with a solution. They tested for the existence of incubation by using a creativity task called the unusual uses task, which is essentially they got people to list as many unconventional ways to use a common household item given a period of time. And so, for example, if you take a binder clip, you may possibly say that you could use it as a possible storage device to organize all the cables at your workspace. So after they did the unusual uses task, they were either given a cognitively undemanding task, a cognitively demanding task, rest, or just no break at all. And then they were given another unusual uses task in which half of the items were items they've seen before the break, and half of the items were just completely brand new items. And what they found was that for items that were seen before the break, only people in the cognitively undemanding task showed significantly higher improvements in their second unusual uses task, in that they thought of more creative uses and a higher number of uses for any common household object. And this effect was only seen for old items they've seen before the break and not for new items. And so this means that it's not that relaxation improves general creativity or creativity overall. It's that by merely being exposed to the idea before a break, you're actually incubating the idea beforehand and actually improving later creativity for that specific item. And so research into the existence of the incubation effect has been abundant, but whether or not it's primarily due to conscious or unconscious processes still remain hotly debated. And so those in favor of the conscious would argue that when you put down a problem, you're actually doing it because you're very desperate. You're overwhelmed, you've hit a mental block, you're overwhelmed with stress and mental fatigue. And so thus taking a shower would actually lower mental fatigue and reduce your stress levels, which in turn would free up more capacity for creative problem solving. Those in favor of the unconscious, however, will argue the ability of the unconscious to associate information from a wide range of knowledge, and which leads you to eventually activating information or relevant information that you previously ignored, say the first round of your unusual uses task. But as you may have realized, both of these theories seem weak at face value. So in all likelihood, it's a combination of both theories that best encapsulate the theory of incubation. And because both theories underlie the role of, or point to the underlying role of mind wandering as an important role that plays in incubation. And in turn, mind wandering actually frees up capacity for creative problem solving. So given anecdotal evidence and empirical evidence for the idea of incubation, do we just let the unconscious do all the thinking for us? No. Incubation has only been seen to be beneficial for creative problem solving and not for problems that require more analytic, logical thinking. Because those types of problems require more conscious, controlled processing of attention that focuses on your external environment or your external cues so that you can gather as much information as you can to formulate an accurate answer. Whereas problems that require more creative thinking or creative problem solving typically don't have a right or wrong answer. And they will require you to generate novel ideas based on your inner thoughts and your inner reflection. And so this theory of incubation is actually consistent with what we know about the reconstructive nature of memories. So as we know, every time we recall a past event, we retrieve that memory differently every time. And our accuracy and contents of our memories actually fluctuate over time. So similar how we approach the same problem at different times, we may use new angles and approach it different ways than we have previously thought, broadening our range of possible and potential answers. So hit a mental block, hit the showers. So relax, shift your attention away from the problem at hand, and just let your mind wander. You'll come back with a new perspective that will greatly increase your chances and your efficiency to solve the problem at hand rather than just bulldozing your way through the task. And so just make sure to come back from your existential crisis once you're done with the shower. Thank you.